Hello everyone, this is Lucas from Enterprise Repair and Automation Edmonton, and today I'm going to teach you guys how to get away from the idea of a cell phone and cell phone bill and save some money on your mobile communication, because I'm going to use the term mobile communication because in today's society that's what we all use for the most part. We don't carry a cell phone in our pocket so much anymore these days as we do a fancy computer that happens to be able to make phone calls. Now, this trick is used to save you guys a lot of money on your mobile communications, but unfortunately it only works if your devices are paid for. If your devices aren't paid for, this trick won't work. If you're still stuck in the plan, I'm sorry, you probably shouldn't have signed that deal, but everybody goes through it. I figured out this trick as a result of going through it. So I'll tell you where I was at the time I figured this out, what it was I did, what you too can do, and this will help you save a lot of money on your mobile communications. Now, first off, like I said, you have to own your own equipment. It was this case about 2 years ago when I had both a cell phone and a tablet that were both coming to the end of their agreement, and I wanted to get rid of one and keep the other, and I wasn't sure which one I wanted to keep. Now, I'm a big guy, I got big fingers, and I like big things, so I wanted to kind of go with the tablet. I wanted to see if I could actually make the tablet work and use it as a basis of my phone and internet communications, and I was able to do this. You can also do this trick with a regular smartphone as well. You don't have to do it with a tablet. It works with either devices. I just chose a tablet because that's what I felt that I wanted. So how this works is when you own your devices outright with Rogers, and this only works with Rogers, it will not work with any other cell phone distributor in Edmonton that I'm aware of. Rogers is pretty much the only one that still carries pagers, and I'll get into that in a minute. I was at my end of my service agreement with Rogers, and I had two devices that were hooked up with Rogers already that had Rogers SIM cards, and I decided that I wanted to get rid of the phone. But I'd been reading the Metro Edmonton at the time, and they were talking about these little guys here, which are pagers. And pagers went the way of the dinosaur. Let's see if I can get that in focus. No, it's not going to do it. Pagers went the way of the dinosaur pretty much in the earlier 2000s, but people still do carry them. I was told that some professionals like engineers or doctors or whatever still carry pagers on them. It's interesting that they still exist today and that the network still exists, but Rogers is the only one that still does it. When your two devices are hooked up and you're at the end of your contract and they're out and they're right and they're paid for and everything else, you phone Rogers and you ask them to send you a pager. Now, the paging service only works to receive phone numbers that people implement into the messaging system. So the paging service does a lot of things. First and foremost, it blocks a lot of robocalls. Robocalls can't get through a pager. A lot of the people that might call you and harass you at call centers don't really know how pagers work necessarily. Some of them may figure out how they work and actually send you a number for phishing, but it's never happened to me. I get no phishing phone calls or fraudulent text messages or anything like that on my pager, which is wonderful so far. Once you have the pager established, you can, at this point, choose to phone Rogers and ask them for more data cards attached to your plan, or at this time, cancel your phone. Now, at this time, if you cancel your phone and order more cards, it doesn't matter if you order more cards or not, but you cancel your phone at this point, and the phone's data card is now no good anymore. The phone will not make phone calls anymore, and everything like that is fine. But before you do that, just before you do that, ask Rogers, before you cancel your phone, to make your pager number your primary contact number for your account. Your account revolves around your primary contact number, and your primary contact number at a cell phone company becomes your phone. The moment you switch it over to another device, it becomes that device. So where the companies kind of get you in their contract is where your primary device that you're using has to maintain certain primary features, but not necessarily. If you have a cell phone, you don't necessarily have to use it as a phone anymore. You can just use it as a personal data device, the same as you do a tablet or anything else. So now that you have your primary phone number attached to a pager, your pager becomes the basis of everything. So any cell phone phishes or anything like that, or robocalls or anything like that, they won't work. They come to your pager, and in a case of an emergency, it's wonderful to have because you can walk away from all your other cell phone devices and just carry a pager. And if somebody really needs to get a hold of you, like really, 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 really important, like if you have family and kids, then they can actually get a hold of you still. And paging service works all the way around the world pretty well, very well. So yeah, there's that. And it's really nice to get away from these other devices. You don't have the distraction of a cell phone in your pocket, say if you're on vacation or something like that. Still want to maintain some kind of in-touch service. This is one way to do it. So, but you don't have to use it that way. Most of the time my pager's off. I don't use it. I don't even care if the battery's in its charge. Right now it's dead. It doesn't matter. But basically you pay $15 a month for a old school analog firewall that just takes regular batteries, that your whole digital life bases itself around instead of your cell phone. Now, what you do at that point is you have your data in your tablet switched over to pay as you would just for your use. And the whole point of this situation is just to rely on Wi-Fi. Now at home I have Shaw Wi-Fi, which includes Shaw Open, which is great because there's Shaw Open hotspots all over the city. So I'm traveling all over the city. If I find a Shaw Open hotspot, my device automatically connects to it. I know I'm on one. I can see the bar at the very top. When I'm connected to the Wi-Fi, it'll show me right here on my little bar here, the same as everybody else has. And I'm able to do whatever I want through the Wi-Fi at home, the Shaw Open, or if I go to the library or something like that, or other remembered safe Wi-Fi spots. I trust the Wi-Fi in Canada's libraries. I don't know if anybody else does, but I do. So when I'm going between each Wi-Fi hotspot is the only time I end up using data, and that doesn't happen very often. So the standard data package, just to put data on this and keep it active, I believe is just over $10 a month. So if you add up the $15 a month that you pay for the pager, you're now paying $25, and that actually goes down. If you decide with the paging company that you want to buy the pager, it goes down to $7 and something, I think, just for the paging service. The $15 is including the rental of the pager itself. So at this point here, base package, you're paying around $25. Now, that's on top of your internet at home, of course. I still pay for that. Can't get away from it. It's still the basis of this whole deal. So internet at home is roughly $80 a month. So we're dealing with $105 base on entire communications for cellular devices, which is not too bad. Anything I go over that ends up getting slapped on the communications. Before I was doing all this with all the devices that I had with just the two devices, I was paying, I believe, about $128 a month. Now for my cable, internet, and everything included, I'm paying about the same price. And anything over, I go on my overages. I never usually go over $50 a month. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but I'm very liberal about the data that I use when I'm on the go. So I have no problem sending somebody a picture or downloading something that's big. If I really want it, I don't mind paying for it. So generally speaking, $60 a month is where I usually cap out on my actual data usage. And how I get my phone is very interesting. So how this becomes the center of your mobile communications world, there is also a phone number that is attached in your tablet for your messaging app. And it's a legitimate phone number. So it's a phone number that will only accept texts, though. You can't send calls through it. Now, some tablets are call enabled, but the whole idea here is just to get to data only and get away from that whole idea of a phone call. So you have the number based on the tablet SIM card here, which is your first phone number. Your second phone number, which is your pager, which you kind of want to link everything you can to in order to stay away from the calls and lead a quiet life that way. And what you end up doing in the end is through your Wi-Fi is to purchase a third-party Google Play app. Now, there's all kinds of them. There's TextNow is a really big one here in Canada. That's the one that I use. I think it's pretty good. It works really well. It gives you an Edmonton phone number, and I believe I only pay about $3, I think, a month for it through the Google Play Store, which is really good. I find that the calling comes through okay. Sometimes I got drop calls and stuff when I'm going between Wi-Fi and LTE, but I don't really worry about it too much. The device I'm using it on is pretty old, and I think that a lot of the reasons why that's happening is because of the device, not the actual app itself. Besides that, I've managed to, run a side repair business and everything else based off of just what I did here, and that is getting away from the idea of a phone, because all basically a phone is a fancy computer that happens to make phone calls as a side. But thanks to online V over IP and things like that, today you don't have to think of a phone call as a conversation between a phone to a phone. It's not that anymore. It's a conversation between a computer and a computer. And if your call base is all digital, or whether your call base is based off of a cell phone, it doesn't really matter. It's still a phone number and it still works on the network. So that's how I do it. If you like this video, please give me the thumbs up and subscribe. It's not an easy thing to do, but like I said, to break it down really quick here again, just for everybody, you get a pager, make the pager your basis of your cell phone plan, get a data card sent from you from Rogers if you want extra ones, or use a current data card that you already have and use those two phone numbers as the basis of your cellular communication, and you will beat robocalls, you'll beat the high expensive bills and everything else. And if you want to get more data cards, like I said, you can have more than one data device. And the neat thing is about that, if you have more than one data device linked through this, like same as you would on a family plan or whatever else, and only use the data, that cellular communication through the Google Play app through TextNow will actually get loaded on your tablet. It'll get loaded on your phone. You can get apps on your computer as well for it. So no matter where you are and what device you are, it's all the same phone number, which is wonderful. It makes life so much interesting and easy when you're not having to run around look for your phone, when you can just, a phone becomes just part of the computers around you. It's a pretty interesting concept. But it does save you money as well. So if you like this video, please give me the thumbs up and subscribe. And this is Lucas, and I'll come at you with some more.